Anna here, and I have my daughter Cecelia with me. We're gonna do a painting together. This is gonna be really special. She's been asking me for a while to do a painting lesson again. It's probably been, what, 2 years almost?
Yeah, I'm 8 now.
She's 8 now. So when I asked her what she wanted to paint, she had a long list of animals, and I said, well, what about one of your stuffed animals? She's got about 1 million of them. Can you tell us about what you picked?
Wait, what? Catacorn is like, it's half unicorn, half cat. That's what a catacorn is. So she is one of my stuffies that Mom gave me for another painting that she made with me in it. So like, another thing about it is that he's married and it's a boy.
Okay. So we're going to be working with oil paints today. I have given her the green light. I started painting with oils when I was about 10 with my grandfather, and I just want to pass along the legacy to Cecelia. So I'm going to trust that you don't get my brushes full of oil paint all the way up the handle. Can you do that?
You want me to do it?
No. All right, well, let's get started. Okay, so I've given Cecelia a piece of canvas paper and taped it up on a piece of cardboard so that it'll be the comfortable height for her to work. And she's got one of my old palettes that she's using. So some of the colors I've laid out for us are amethyst, which is this dark purple from Michael Harding. I've got some cadmium orange, some cadmium yellow pale, some radiant magenta, which is going to be sort of our bright pink that we mix with white to get some of those beautiful rainbow pinks. We've got titanium white, video blue from Vasari, ultramarine blue, phthalo green, and ivory black. So are you ready to get started?
Well, yeah, but first of all, the other colors can be used for a different background I want.
You don't want that white background?
No, I don't. That's too plain.
Okay. I guess I didn't really let her pick the background. I'm working on just a cheap canvas panel, and I put, I don't know, maybe a year ago, I put some texture on here thinking I was going to use that for something. So there's some texture on my panel, but that'll work great for getting the feeling of the fur. So what are we going to go for today, Cecelia? When we're looking at catacorn, what are some of the things that we really want to get right?
The edges and the texture. Also, I was thinking maybe we could work with the colors.
Yeah, for sure. There's lots of rainbow colors on there. So the first thing we want to do to get started is grab our vine charcoal, and we're going to draw Mr. Catacorn on our canvas.
Those days, not Mr. Catacorn.
Oh, okay. Try to draw really lightly so that your paints can cover over your drawing once you get started.
Mom, I can't see it, bro.
Well, then move him however you want, because this is your painting.
Okay.
What if we put his tail like this way? Can we both see it if he's like that?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
I'm gonna start him.
Okay, do you remember what I said about drawing really lightly?
Yeah.
And now that you've moved him, that means he's looking at you differently, so he's a very different angle now. So yeah, you can wipe out your charcoal.
How?
With your paper towel, just wipe it off.
Oh yeah, this is really erasable.
It totally is. That's the great thing about it. Now this is not how I would normally pose a stuffed animal, but I want Cecelia to get the best angle for her so that she gets a painting that she's really happy with. Kind of like when you draw anything from life and you have to share the model or the subject with somebody else. Somebody's probably going to get a better view than the other person, but that's okay. You got to make it work and find something that you love about what you're seeing and make it look awesome.
And I'm the younger one anyway.
That's true. So she has catacorn facing her. You don't need to put in too many details yet, Cecelia.
Oh.
I would also just spend more time looking at what you're drawing rather than looking at your actual drawing, because look at how much bigger his head is than the features on his face. You want to give him more of a bigger head.
Yeah. Bigger head.
Yep.
What? Raise it hold.
No, not the whole thing. I like his ear and I like the horn. His other ear might be a little bit small.
Oh.
And remember, draw really lightly. Make small, light marks. You are really ignoring me on that one. This is a girl who likes to draw with Sharpie and permanent ink, so that's going to be a tough one to train.
Hey!
While she's finishing her drawing, I'm going to just start mixing some piles of paint here. I'm going to show you what I'm doing, and then you can try to do the same thing, okay? I'm going to start with some white. Uh-huh.
Where's the white?
And then white is going to be my big mother pile.
White?
You know what else I need, though? I need some warm light yellow. That is a good color for Catacorn, because Catacorn is not pure white. He's more of an off-white. Warm light yellow is a great color to use.
He also has a silver horn, and I don't have the color silver.
You have black and white, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't that make silver?
It makes gray. Well, gray is a type of silver, technically.
That's right.
But how do we make it sparkly?
Oh, good question. That is all about just choosing to make the horn dark enough so that you put little light dots on it that stand out and look like sparkles.
Oh.
So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start with my lightest colors. I'm starting with like that yellow that I'm seeing at the top of his head. And I'm mixing a tiny bit of yellow into my white. So I'm going to have all these rainbow colors sort of touching each other on the palette. Just like they are on him. Yeah, right next to each other.
That's cool.
Get a bigger glob of white, because white is going to be your main color that you're mixing things into.
A bigger blob?
Uh-huh. Now I'm taking some pink and mixing that next to the white.
No, you're going right ahead of me.
I'm showing you what to do.
Ooh.
And some blue. We could try using video blue, which is really a nice light blue. Finally, a little bit of green. I'm gonna
Green?
mix that over next to my blue. Okay, and to mix with your palette knife, you can scoop it up and then smush it around, scoop it back up, smush it back around with both sides of the knife. You might want a fresh paper towel there, kiddo, otherwise it's gonna get all over your hands. Looks like it already is.
I made all these colors, and this was supposed to be a green, but instead of mixing the dark green with the white, I was trying to make a blue, but I accidentally turned it into green, but it actually turned out to be a perfect color.
Awesome. Okay, are you ready to get started?
Mm-hmm.
So probably the easiest way to start this is to lock in where our darkest darks are. And
Darkest.
they're a little bit hard to pin down because it is such a bright painting, right? So let's grab in a separate pile, we'll grab some white with our brush and some ivory black, just a little bit. We're gonna make a gray and maybe some orange.
Oops, I added too much.
Oh yeah, let's save that for later. Start a new pile. Teeniest bit of black, just a speck. Okay, and then I'm actually adding some orange and a tiny bit of purple, maybe some yellow, to make sort of a earth tone for my
Orange
shadow.
and yellow. Wait, what?
Okay, put your paper towel in the trash. Get a new one because it's all over your hands. This is the part I was worried about. It's all over you. Okay, now add a tiny, tiny bit of purple to that grayish pile you started. Whoa, that's way too much. Like way, way, way too much. That's still too much. Look at how small your pile of paint is. Just wipe it on the palette somewhere else. Yep, and now mix it. It takes a little practice. Okay, Now you can use your small brush if you want to draw in some of the areas of shadow. And mine are going to look different, okay? Because I have a different angle than you do. So I see shadow under the bottom of his chin here. See that?
Wait, where's shadow?
Okay, look at Catacorn. You see where the light is?
Uh-huh.
His nose is sticking out and casting a shadow. So this is dark because that's not in the light. I see another little shadow under his ear, but that one looks pinker. So I mixed some red and orange into that one.
Oh, too much. Okay, that's better.
Takes practice. And then where else do I see a shadow? I see one down here. And right under his little bottom. But that one has some green mixed in because he's sitting on a green fabric. Oh man, Cecelia, there's gonna be so much color in this painting.
Hey, so much?
So much color. I'm gonna start putting in colors as I see them, but the way I mix my color is I mix a little bit of color into the mixtures that I've already started to get the right value and the right color temperature. And then sometimes I'll mix it in next to a color that I've already put up there so I can see how they look next to each other. See? So right here I've got that darker shadow under the ear, and then I mixed a color that I thought would look like the color that goes next to it. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay, so why don't you try? Very good. You're seeing kind of that purple shadow under his chin, right?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Wait, it's too blue.
Okay, if it's too blue, then what does it need? Where does it need to go? Does it need to be redder?
It needs to be mixed.
Does it need to have more red in it, though?
We just need to add more.
Okay. Color mixing is very tricky. I don't know why we picked a rainbow cat for our only second or third painting lesson ever. Okay, do you see what I'm doing? And now I'm mixing the pink on his cheek. And I'm going to go up in here, and I used white and black to make a gray for under his little snout.
Gray under his snout?
Yeah.
I don't see any gray under his snout.
Like right here. You see that?
Yeah. You use some extra.
And I think black and white are just about perfect for the color of his little unicorn horn. Mine looks mad. Okay. I still think that shadow under his neck is more of a warmer color. Right now you've got almost like a blue gray, and if you use maybe orange instead, it's going to look warmer. Yeah, if you just mix that in. Oh, that's better already. Nice. Very good. All right, what's the next color that you're going to put up there? Because I'm seeing like that blue purple next to the pink over here.
I don't have the eyes in. I don't have the.
Yeah, we don't need to worry about the eyes yet. We'll get there.
Don't worry, I'm gonna mix it in.
I'm not worried. You're about as much of a perfectionist as I am.
Oh. Well, kinda. Well, yeah, I am a really good artist like you.
But that's not what I said. I said a perfectionist.
What
That means you care about everything being just right. So I'm actually going to use a different brush for my yellows because yellow can be so easily infected by other colors. So I think it's important to have a separate brush for that so that that yellow stays nice and clean.
Oh, I just learned something. Gloppy is sloppy, though.
Gloppy is sloppy. I like that. I'm going to have to use that when I teach.
Really?
So I'm putting in all my yellows right now because it's going to be easier to mix my other colors up to the yellow than the other way around. Because as soon as anything gets into yellow, it gets totally infected and then it's really hard to get pure color back. And it's good to use a lot of paint for this so that you can create that illusion of texture like we talked about. And we really want him to look like he has that soft fur, don't we?
Texture.
Texture, that's right.
How do we make it look like that? Does it look like it has soft fur?
It does. You can dab with your brush. You can use the flat side of your brush. You can use all the different angles of your brush to give it that texture.
Yeah, this is perfect.
And then once we get to it, I'll show you another secret for how to use a clean brush to get softer edges.
It's not really a secret though.
You're right, it's not a secret. But maybe it's new to you.
Maybe not. I don't know.
All right, so next I'm gonna put in his little pink nose.
Me too. Oh, not good.
And you know what? I'm going to place his eye just so that I can make sure I'm on track with my drawing. Because right now I'm not so sure.
Oh, great. The nose is too big.
Well, that's all right. You can paint all the white around it, up to it. I do that all the time.
How do I correct? Oh, great.
Well, yep, that's the idea. But make sure that you don't have more pink in your brush.
That's my problem. Yours looks just like her.
I've had a lot of practice. Okay, if you get too much paint on there, just scrape it off your palette knife and start over.
Oh my!
Oh, know what's on your palette knife first, though. Sorry, I should have said that first, huh? So I've just been blocking in one color at a time, trying to get the values right, because the shadows on this cat are so subtle. It's sort of hard to see where the form turns away from the light. So that's why I keep squinting as I'm looking at it, to make sure I can see where things get darker or lighter relative to the light source. And Cecelia, you know, she's pretty new to oil painting, so for her, her focus today is going to be on drawing, getting the drawing right. And she really wants to get that color and the texture of the fur. So if her values are not 100%, that's okay. Values take a lifetime to master.
Hey, look!
That's better drawing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're just going to make sure that if you make a mistake, you don't beat yourself up over it. You just learn from it, right?
Wait, I can still beat myself up though, right?
No. What do you think so far? You having fun?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yours is so cool.
So is yours. Look, you got those pastel colors, and like you can see the difference between the blue and the pink and the purple. That looks really good. The only thing I would say really to work on right now is to give it a softer transition from the light into the shadow. Can make it blend a little bit more. Because right now, instead of a shadow, that looks like he's wearing a collar, doesn't it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Top part of the shadow, like right here.
Well, I can do it.
This spot needs to blend. See what I mean?
Oh.
Yeah. Now it doesn't look like a collar anymore.
Yeah.
And my mixtures, you know, I pre-mix stuff, but then it's all subject to change, and I'm married to my palette. I'm just gonna...
You're not... What do you mean you're married to?
I'm not too attached to what I pre-mixed. I'm letting it change and evolve.
Oh, so not a palette in a wedding or something.
No, I'm not walking down the aisle with my palette. No. Uh-oh, my eye got muddy.
Mine did it. Mine's not that bad. Well, it did happen. Well, you know what? Now it's your turn.
Well, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a smaller brush, and I'm just going to pick up my black, and I'm going to just get it back. Watch.
Wow.
My challenge as a teacher and as a parent is, getting Cecelia to learn how to mix oil paints correctly and apply them correctly, but also letting her do what she wants because she's a girl who wants to do whatever she wants.
How do you know?
How do I know? Because you're my kid. I live with you. So this is a little challenge right here, trying to figure out, I'm going to make the background white, but it doesn't look pure white because it's got some shadow in it and it's turning away from the light. So there's actually more of a gray than a white. Yep. We got the dog trying to break down the door. We got little brother who just woke up from his nap. So sitting down to paint together, really rare and kind of hard to do. So this is very special. Wow, you're almost done with yours.
No, I gotta make the background too.
Okay.
It's gonna take me a little bit to make the background too.
Okay, let me catch up to you.
You're almost done too.
Not really.
Yeah, well, yours is getting great.
Well, thanks. So is yours. You've got really good color there, girly. You worked at that. And I think it helped that we pre-mixed some of those colors, don't you?
Yep. It has like a little shadow below it.
Okay.
See? Does it look realistic?
Yeah. Yeah, very good. Now he looks like he's sitting in space.
No.
Not outer space, but he's got some 3 dimension to him.
He's sitting on a cloud.
So what can we do to make his fur look more furry?
I already made it look furry.
I think his nose looks a little bit like bubbly, not soft and fluffy. Would you like to try using...
The nose isn't...
No. I mean the white part around his nose. Sorry. How can we make that spot look a little softer?
You could take your brush and dab it.
Yeah. Or what if we go like this? What if we take a clean brush and actually just pull it back and forth a little bit. Like that.
Hey, you just ruined it.
Are you sure? Because
Yeah.
I think to make something look soft, you should actually have less choppy texture and more softer edges.
Oh. But didn't
Like what you did right here. See that? That looks soft to me. So this part doesn't look like fur, but this part does. But I have to say, your colors are quite lovely. So my trick to getting soft looking fur is to use a lot of paint. I just kind of load it on and smush it all together and mush it around on there so that I get lots of interesting brushwork and texture. And with almost every brush stroke, I like to go back and reload my brush and get more paint on there.
Can't you tell he's sitting on a cloud?
Well, is a catacorn kind of a celestial being? Do they sit on clouds? Is that what they like to do?
They can sit on clouds, they can sit on rocks.
Like real cats like to sit on the top of a couch, but a catacorn likes to sit on a cloud.
Catacorns are mythical creatures.
That's true.
They live in a different world. You know what else I'm going to add in there? A rainbow.
From my angle, catacorn has kind of a tude.
Hey.
See the eyebrows?
Yeah.
And then I'm just using pure white with a real small brush to get some of these white highlights here and there. Okay, so now I need to make that background stand out a little bit more.
My background's standing up nice.
Cecelia is doing her own thing for her background. I'm not so sure about that color choice though. Do you know why?
Why?
Because right now, that color wants to be the star of your painting, not the catacorn.
Oh, I'll make it lighter.
Okay, that's a good idea. Also, I don't think you have any orange in the catacorn itself. So if you were to put more orange in your other parts of your painting, then that orange would make sense. Well, like maybe in the shadow by his neck, and yeah, that makes a little bit more sense. And some of the other shadow areas, you can stick some of that orange in, and that way the orange has
great.
an orange family that it belongs to in the painting.
I need to blend it in more.
Okay, I'm finally getting around to the body, but I need to be careful with the values here.
Because Mommy is practicing, well, maybe not practice, but she's trying to blend it in too, right?
Well, yeah, I'm trying to mix all these rainbow colors without them getting muddy, right? We want clean color.
Yeah, and trying to blend this in. There we go.
And then these values are so tricky because everything looks light to me, but there are certainly some darker areas than others. So again, going back to squinting way down and comparing my values, checking my drawing. Of course, it doesn't have to be perfect with a stuffed animal. That's kind of half the fun, is that it doesn't have to be exactly accurate. But if I'm going to teach painting, I want to teach correct drawing also, because those things go hand in hand. Can't have a good painting without it having good drawing.
Oh, what if you're someone who's not good at drawing?
Well, then that's a great question. That means you keep practicing drawing so that you can get better at painting.
When I was little, I wasn't as good as drawing as I am now. Because I love drawing now. And since I did not realize that I was actually, when I'm drawing, I'm actually practicing.
You are. Every time you do a drawing, that's practice. You don't even realize you're doing it because you're having so much fun, right?
Mm-hmm. But what if you're a person who doesn't have fun with it?
If you don't have fun doing a drawing, then maybe drawing isn't the right career choice for you.
Maybe.
Or maybe it gets fun the more you do it and the better you get at it.
Maybe.
Because there have been plenty of times when I did a drawing and I was not having fun because it wasn't turning out the way I wanted it to.
Really?
Yeah.
So one time I was trying to make a craft, and then it kept on going apart, and I was like, I was so mad that I quitted.
Yeah, when it doesn't go the way you want it to, sometimes that can be very frustrating. But you just got to keep going, keep trying. If you really, really want to get better at it, you keep going even when it gets frustrating.
And make sky blue.
Ooh, let's paint that pink tail.
I'm making sky blue.
Oh my, you put a rainbow in there. I see where you were going with that. Now I get it.
Yeah. Like a bunch of... It's supposed to look like that.
Yeah?
Haven't you ever realized what it's supposed to look like?
Well, I don't have the same vision as you do. Only you know how you want your painting to turn out.
Yours is amazing.
Why, thank you. So is yours. Wow, look at all that color.
Ugh.
So one thing I think yours could use is maybe... We'll clean that up later. Maybe going a little darker with some of your
Oh my hair. I better clean that up.
Okay, we're going to pause. So we had to take a little break because Cecelia got paint all over her hair and hands, and I'm rethinking this whole teaching oils to an 8-year-old, but I'm hoping that these are just kinks we have to work out. So we're going to keep going.
Mom thinks I can't do this.
I didn't say that. I know you can, but let's try not to get paint all over ourselves for finishing this painting, okay?
Oh yeah, one more detail. I had to go out and wash my hair, but still staining it.
Look at your arms.
Oh!
Yeah, go back and get that too.
Great.
Yeah, there's a reason I waited a couple years to continue oil painting lessons with her. She loves art. She loves to paint. She loves to draw. I'm so grateful to have a child who's interested in painting. But there's a self-awareness that's sometimes lacking with young kids as to, awareness about like where their brush is or where their hair is hanging or that kind of stuff. You ready?
Yeah.
You ready to try again?
Okay.
Okay.
Still a little stain.
I wiped off your seat there.
Thanks.
So what do you have left to do to finish your painting?
I don't know.
Okay, well sometimes if you're not sure, it's helpful to just stop and look at it.
It
Or
looks
stand
great.
back and see if there's anything that you could add or take away that would make it better.
I needed to add more of the sky.
Do you think Catacorn maybe could use some more edges to show where his feet are? Because I can't always tell from looking at it that he has 4 feet. So maybe you could draw the feet a little bit better. I'm just trying to catch up to Cecelia. She finished hers so quickly and I'm still trying to figure out.
And Mom, does it still look good right now?
Yeah, I'm just giving you some suggestions for ways to make it even better.
Oh, great. I kind of need to blend it a little bit. Kind of need to look like it's realistic.
Well, blending isn't always the answer for making something look realistic. So if it doesn't look real to you, chances are there's an issue with the drawing or the values. Maybe something needs to be lighter or something needs to be darker. So take a good look at Catacorn and see what that might be. Is it a drawing issue?
Maybe I just need to add in more shadows.
Or is it a value issue? You know what I mean by value, right? Lights and darks?
Value is what it's worth.
Well, that's a different meaning for the word value. But when we talk about value in painting, we're talking about how light or dark something is. I've been throwing that word at you this whole time and didn't even realize you didn't know what it meant. That's my fault.
Because you didn't tell me what value was in painting.
That's true. Now you know. What is it?
It's the light and darks.
That's right.
It looks good. Except I need to add a little bit more of the cloud. I know the background doesn't matter to you, but it matters.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Background is very important. Backgrounds always matter. But what matters to me about a background is that it works with what's in the foreground. That's why I suggested that you add some orange to your Catacorn so that that orange, it's still pretty strong in your painting. But what if you put some orange in the shadow underneath his feet? Maybe that would help set it apart a little bit. Yeah, but don't just draw a line. Look at the shadow on what you're seeing. Is there a straight line under him, or does it look a little different than that? So the shadows come forward a little bit, maybe?
The feet show.
Yeah. So it's not really just a straight line, is it?
My feet aren't correctly.
Yeah, that's a perspective issue. That's a drawing issue. And that's, perspective is how something comes forward or back towards you in space. And that's a very tricky thing to learn in drawing, but that's something to keep practicing, right?
Yeah.
So don't be discouraged if your perspective isn't perfect.
I'm not being discouraged. I'm starting this part over.
All right, good for you. I'm noticing that some of the poofy things in the tail, the highlights on the tail, next to that intense pink, they look almost blue.
Look. I kind of need to make it more fuzzy. Texture. There we go.
Okay, so I'm using some phthalo green.
You know what I don't like about right now? It looks like he's sitting down like a human does.
I don't know. I think now he looks like he has 4 paws. But if you get some darker darks for shadows, then the paws will stand out a little bit more.
But this part needs to be pure white. It's not.
It'll look whiter if you put some darks next to it. Promise.
Oh, there we go. You know, I'm gonna put shadows afterwards.
Afterwards? Why? Why wait?
Because I'm making it whiter. How does shadows make it whiter?
If you put a shadow next to where the lights are supposed to be, that white that you're talking about, then it's automatically going to look lighter. Because the dark helps that light to pop.
Is that the shadow?
Yeah, you can go even darker with it though. Look, watch this.
Whoa.
Watch this. If I put black next to that paw, doesn't that paw look lighter already?
Not really.
You're not helping.
It's not really in the same. It's not changing lighter.
It's not changing, but it's changing the way we look at it, or the way we see it.
Ugh. Doesn't look good.
That's much better. See, look, those paws look lighter because of the dark that you put next to them. Much better. Yes.
You know, I did better at this than the other painting lessons.
It's because you're older and wiser. What do you think is the most important thing we talked about today in this painting lesson?
Color.
In what way?
How dark it is and how light it is.
That's value. Remember?
Oh, yeah.
And color can have a value. It can be a lighter or a darker value, but
Ours is kind of different, though.
they are. We got a very different perspective on our catacorn. We're looking at him from different angles, and we just have different interpretations of what we're seeing, right?
You like my catacorn?
Are you finished?
I was thinking maybe it could be. Yeah, I'm finished.
Okay.
But I would like to wait here for you to be.
Would you like to talk about backgrounds
Yeah.
right now?
Oh, yes.
So the thing about a background is that it's important because it helps put your character or person or subject in a place. It gives it an environment, a home to live in, right?
But sometimes it could just be a landscape. But we're focusing on a portrait right now.
It is a portrait, you're right. So the background needs to not take away from the portrait, but it needs to help the subject feel like it's living in that space in the painting. So you put yours in the sky. You put that blue in there and the rainbow, and you have him sitting on a cloud. What are the green things on either side of him?
Those are more clouds.
Oh, more clouds. Okay.
Should I add a little bit different of clouds?
Well, I think it looks like a tree to me because I don't usually see green clouds, but that's all right. We have a rainbow catacorn, so we can do anything with color, I suppose.
Oh, I did want to show you his bride. This is his bride.
Catacorn has a wife.
He has pants on. She has pants on because there's I accidentally put a cut in her butt, and so we're gonna knit it back up. But for now, we're putting her on pants. You know, Mommy's been working with paint for many years. There's lots of other paintings around the studio. If you've watched the other ones about me, you've seen that I've changed a lot.
Cecelia.
What? Jake is a rabbit with that voice.
There it is, folks. Cecilia's finished painting. And that's kind of her angle that she was working from there. And her palette. Not too shabby for an 8-year-old. Gotta say, those rainbow colors were really tough to mix, and she got pretty clean color, so I'm proud of her. Mission accomplished.